All right. So basically, what you got here is I'll show you. It's basically a dynameshing and reprojection of all the main parts of the character. So if you take, for example, the base model here, there's actually there's actually a lower subdivision level for everything. And yeah, this is just using the same technique as I shown before. I just basically dynameshed everything so it's actually like in one piece, and then reprojected with Z-remesh. Well, I made a Z-remesh and then reprojected on top. So what I get in the end is basically this entire model, which you can see is all in one piece. And yes, in low resolution, but that's not a problem because what we want to do is just do like a test for the posing. You can also do this part with the blocking of your character. You don't need to actually necessarily do it with the final high res, right? But yeah, me, I did it for the high res with the high res, and yeah, the advantage of doing it with the blocking is that if actually you want to do a really complex pose, especially when it comes to like the shoulders and everything, there's a lot of like movement around the shoulders and the back, and the torsions of of uh, the shoulder actually can influence a lot around here, and especially when you do a mechanical character, like the way that like things are cut and stuff, sometimes it can be maybe like not super optimal. um and yeah, so like this way, if you actually do something with the blocking, you end up seeing where you might have some problems in posing and interpenetration and clipping and that sort of stuff. So it's actually an advantage of doing this with the blocking. Now for this series for the insectoids, I'm not making some crazy poses for those. Like it's pretty much just like a altered T stance. For her, I actually went a little bit further, not that much. I just gave her a little catwalk pose, and so we're still like in something like not so complicated. I actually noticed some you see some interpenetration when it comes to like this part of the design here, but you see like that for that part, I might actually just be um, changing the design on the fly just for this part actually. But this is still the rough blocking of the shape, right? So we're gonna pose our actual final mesh on top of that. So this is the reason why I actually do this sketch of the pose first, because I don't care if there's like if not everything is perfect. Like you see like what the fuck is like that thing here, like that gray part. That's supposed to be there. But the idea is that I actually wanted to get the right gesture first. And once that I have the gesture, I know that I can now pose my character in place and do it for real in a clean way with my actual final model here, which is much heavier. Salut Marco, comment ça va? Salut SKR. First time chat. Do you have some tips to do articulations? I sorry, this is a bit of a too broad of a question. What's your problem with articulations? Do you mean articulations for 3D printing and that sort of stuff, or you just mean like articulation in terms of like the design? Do you use posable symmetry? I absolutely not. It doesn't work. Hey Marco, oh you already posed her, nice. Well, yeah, it's only the it's not the real final mesh, no, it's just a Dynamesh with reprojection just to have like a dirty mesh and pose her to get like the right gesture and everything. So basically I just use like catwalk pictures of like women on the catwalk, basically a couple of angles, figure it out, try to have like the right like weight distribution. It's really important to actually like make sure that your character feels like they're centered and their weight is actually well distributed. That's the key into like making a pose. So whatever you do, like there's a few rules that I use. I can probably talk about it in a little bit, but it has to feel like it actually like is solidly like staying up. Salut Western 3D. Oh yeah, good timing. I was curious to see how you do pose. Yeah, there we go. Salut Miguel. Hey, thanks for the follow, by the way. So yeah, I'll jump into that. So like I said, technically, what I did is just Dynamesh reprojection to get this mesh. And once that you have this mesh with few subdivisions, you can easily do the posing, the test. Because like posing a character that's really heavy is a real pain in the ass. So you want to know exactly where to go. So from there to actually there. So now the things to take in consideration. Thank you. If you just look at the like if we just look at the body itself, so you have to draw like a line in the middle, and basically you have to make sure that like there's like equal mass distribution on each sides. So now it's kind of like, so you see like the blue line is kind of like my center. I'll remove the perspective. So the blue line is in the center. Now it's kind of like harder to see a blue line, but it's like it's right here going up like this. Well, you see it's the green line actually. So you see that green is like in the middle here. So you have to make sure that like both feet are like close to this like middle line, right? And that like this like the mass is actually distributed. In that case here, the hip is going to the right and the upper body is going to the left. So it does like there's like an equal exchange of mass here and here basically, and the opposite for here and here. So it's always like a sense of like balance, counterbalance, and that sort of stuff. It's also a way that I create shapes often, even like for a shape, let's say just like the shape of like the forearm. If there's, I draw myself a line of symmetry and I try to actually balance myself this way. So this is really just like it's more like a composition theory, right? But it does work for posing a character. So yeah, and once that you have like your weight is all distributed like this, thanks for the follow. Once that you have your weight distributed this way, it's basically like you add the arms and you make sure that the arms is a bit of the same. For characters that have huge giant arms, the arms might actually become like very crucial to this weight distribution. But for this character, it was more like the body that was the important part. So also like a couple of things that maybe you've heard a million times. But if you look at the hips, like look at those two like gray things, you see like the line is doing like this here, right? Hey, thanks for the follow. And for the shoulders, it's doing the opposite. So it's not like 100% like this all the time, but this is a good way to know that you're counterbalancing like your body is with the line of the shoulder and the line of the hips if they actually are opposite to each other. So one is like this, one is like this, right? So not equal, but like reverse from each other. You know that you have like a asymmetrical balance basically, which is what you want. And so also something important when doing a pose is make sure that you choose a key frame. So like a key angle, like one that it will be like your main angle. For her, it's like straightforward, like front, full front is the view. I'm gonna put the perspective back, and the full front view is basically like going to be like her, like the one picture I'm going to use the most, and I'm going to want to make sure that like the best, like the posing works the best in this angle. That being said, it's extremely crucial to have your character work in all the angles. Like the weight distribution has to be perfect in all of the angles. And if it's perfect in all of the angles, it's going to actually work even better for your front view, your key angle, right? But if you have to make a compromise, like for example, it's nice to have sometimes like negative space and that sort of stuff. Well, I try to prioritize the key angle basically, but you have to make sure that everything works. And of course, some angles are going to be more like more fun than others, like cooler than others, and some angles are going to be a bit like this one is not super inspiring, right? That's not a problem, right? But you do have to feel that she's standing straight or he's standing straight in all angles, right? And so yeah, so that's basically like the idea here. So I'll once again I'll just hide everything but the body, and in all of those angles, like I wanted to make sure that the weight distribution is good. Also, just take into consideration that like right now she has most of her weight on her left leg, right? So the right leg doesn't need to actually feel like it's actually like holding everything in place, but it does need to actually feel like it has a contact with the floor that or because you're adding like now momentum. Momentum is something else you can add over a pose. So like this pose right now has momentum because she's actually walking. She's not like standing still. So what I said before is especially good for when you're standing still, but when you add momentum, you also have to account that like the body moving forward, actually that counts as a certain weight as well. Contrapposto, yes, this is exactly the term. Exactly. Sorry, just got here. Did you pose it using Transpose Master? No. Like I said, this is not my final model. This is just a test model that I actually created by doing a Dynamesh, then reprojecting subdivision to have it divided into like a couple of primary parts. Like this is all one mesh, but it's divided from the body, and it helps me to pose more easily. So this is not the final model. This is just a test pose. We're gonna pose the final model on top of this now that I know that this shape is actually, this pose is actually working. Can you give some suggestion for people who are searching for their first permanent job, um, such as they should or should not do in their portfolio? I'm going to talk about that later, Felix, because right now I just want to concentrate on what I'm talking about. But if I actually, at some point when it becomes more like I'm not explaining things and I'm more going through the motions and stuff, maybe I'll have time to talk about like extracurricular things. So just remind me at that point, please. Yes. Is it modeled in other software first? No, it's 100% ZBrush, one hundo ZBrush. Cool. Thanks. No problem, man. All right. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So we have the momentum that accounts for the fact that, like for example, like she could even be like for example, I'll just use the layer here. Like she could even be even more into like the movement of like walking forward and actually like having like the leg like this, and now you could say like, oh well, like all the weight is at the back and not at the front right now. But of course you have to account for like anatomical things like the toes are holding a lot of the weight, so that is actually something. Plus, it still counts for like the momentum, right? So there's a few things to consider, but those are like the general rules. We can even look at my my layers to see like what I did. Like you see that was like an instance at some point, and you see this is just like a slight change of weight, and I actually needed to rest my eyes and to look at it another day. I didn't do that in one day. I actually like divided it in a couple of days so that I can rest my eye and then look at it again. The entire posing didn't take much time, but I like to divide it in a few days because the posing is so important, and I don't want to like fuck it up. So I prefer to give myself the time to rest my eyes, look at it again, rest the eyes, look at it again, that sort of stuff. So yeah, you see between this and this here, I didn't see it the first time, but on that one here, she kind of like is falling like this, like she could be falling in that direction like this, because the weight is more on the left than on the right at this moment. So this is why I actually kind of like pushed her in that direction a little bit, and especially with the legs here. The back leg is actually kind of like moving in a little bit. And there was another layer. Oh, this one was just for the head. So you see, like, that's another thing that's interesting is so like if you look at the lines of the body, it's doing like like a couple of like contrapposo, to reuse the word, maybe, or maybe that's not contrapposo in that sense. But for example, if you look at the line of the leg, this one is a super strong line, right? And to counterbalance that diagonal, you need a diagonal in the other direction. So when it goes up the hip like this, you have another line that is actually counterbalancing. So you have one line like this, and then one line like this, and then when you go up the torso, you have the line that's like this. But at the moment, you see the head is also on the same line, but since it's a different limb, you kind of like want to give it like a offset. You know, I love offsets. So basically, I saw that later and I was like, oh yeah, so if my line goes like this and then it changes the angle a bit, it's much more interesting than if it was doing a straight line. Same thing for like the foot here. You see like the line going down. You don't want a foot to be straight. You want a foot to kind of like break a little bit here. So like all the limbs have like different like breaks and angle changes, and it just gives for like much more dynamism basically. So it's a steady pose, but we're still offering dynamism, and that's really important when you pose a character. As you can see, I didn't even move the fingers. I actually already posed in my T-pose. The fingers already had like this like dynamism I was looking for. So this I didn't even have to change at all. And I changed maybe a bit of the angle of the elbows. Some arms are straighter, others are a little bit more bent. And yeah, and basically, like I said, I used catwalk pictures of like women walking the catwalk, couple of angles to really get like the sass of the movement and stuff, and try to get those like all the lines correctly. And that's it. Yep. Oh, and by the way, when I start posing a character, I always start with the hip, with the pivot in the middle, and then I actually work my way up, my way down. I finish with the arms and the head, that sort of stuff. So those are basically like my tips for like working on the pose of a character. In terms of like the tools, it's pretty much like, for example, let's just give an example. So I add like a layer. I remove symmetry. I'll start by I'm looking at the entire hip. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna give it like a little bit of like rotation like this. Then if you want to move like the leg inwards, well, right now my entire mesh is on a different subtool, right? So I can just take that subtool. Oops. And since I actually have subdivision levels, I can just like lasso this part, work on my blurring my mask. Now I have this masked, and then I can take the transpose line and I can start to like move it in place like this. Maybe like this one I'm going to want to actually have a little bit like backwards like this, and then I'll do the same thing for the other leg. I'll like select it, mask it, blur it, and I don't care if I'm bending things and bending metal while I'm doing this. Actually, this one was supposed to be backwards. Because right now I'm really just trying to find a gesture, like I said. Oops. And you see I'm going back and forth a lot, and that's the reason why I work on this mesh, because if I had the final mesh, I would not have the luxury to do all of that super quickly, right? Like I would need to, okay. So you see right now, like she's heavily falling on the left. So what do you do to actually like not give her like the feeling that she's falling on the left? Well, you take the part that's falling on the left and you bend it in the other direction to have to offer the contrapposo. Contrapposo. Contrapposo Marco. Maybe rotate from here. Give it a little twist. That direction, maybe. That kind of stuff. So like I did pretty much nothing for the moment, right? But like the idea that I'm trying to reflect is already like here. So by paying attention a lot to everything, rotating, having the feel or whatever, it can take a lot of time, but that's basically like how I go by things, right? And even sometimes I'm even going to cheat a little bit. And let's say that like I would want to actually have her hips going more like on the left, but I don't want to actually have to redo all the transpose line and everything. I can even try to like fake it by hand with the move brush. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Oops, I always have to change that thing. There we go. So move brush. I would probably avoid doing that on the final model, but just to try to get like the feeling that I want, sometimes I just fake with the move brush near the end to like get that extra like zhuzh, whatever. And I know it's bending everything, and it's maybe even like extending some limbs or whatever, but like I at least get a bit of the idea of what I'm looking for. So yeah, that's basically like how I would go at it to get this thing here. So how do you plan posing the final one? Well, I'll show it today. Cool. You can see the whole process on the Chaos Mason YouTube channel. Yeah, exactly. Like Spam said, all my videos are there in my YouTube. So if you go down here in that direction, or this one here, you have two links. One is for my personal stuff. The other one is for my company, Chaos Masons. And either way, like you end up pretty much in the same place. But if you go on the one for Chaos Masons, you go on the link, and it's actually a link that shows a bunch of social medias we have. You click on YouTube, and we have a playlist of like all the videos from the blocking of this character to the end. Do you draw poses before posing in Zbrush? No, I do everything in Zbrush in 3D. Master Marco, AU. When will the models of the Four Horsemen come out? I'm looking forward to them. I'm actually looking forward to them a lot. They're being produced right now. I don't really know. Those things take time, right? So I can't say for sure. Did you dynamically project each part of the body individually here, or just the whole model? Well, like the body and the head together, each arm separate and each leg separate are in different meshes. But yeah. By the way, I'm drinking a pretty fucking good beer. It's a barley wine made in Quebec as well. I love barley wines. After Imperial Stouts, it's my favorite beer, barley wine, followed by Scotch ales, and then porters, and then the rest. Gotcha. Thanks. No problem. So, yep. Let's jump into it. So we're gonna pose the final model. Oh yeah, and by the way, if people like my chats are silent because I let people listen to whatever music they want. If anybody's interested to listen to the same music as I'm listening to right now, I am listening to Bloodhound Gang. How old cool is that? Okay. So basically, this is where I would start for the final posing. So this is my file with like everything in it. I basically everything that was a Dynamesh, I collapsed it into a real mesh. Um, I made sure that everything has a couple of subdivision levels. This is going to help a lot. And Julian, I'm like I said to Felix, any question that doesn't have to do with what I'm doing currently right now, I'm just gonna wait for like a dead time to answer those. So if I just post your question again when I'm not going to be like explaining anything, and I'll gladly answer your question. All right. So yeah, and right now I'm gonna work in orthographic view. For no real reason. I could work in perspective. For posing, I like to alter between perspective and not, because I like to look at it in a mathematical way, right? Like having it in without perspective is kind of like more mathematical, but whatever. That's what I mean. So okay, so we have all of those pieces. I'm going to introduce as a additional subtool, I'm going to introduce the one with the pose here. And so what I will probably want to do is I'm probably going to want to pose part of this character, because although everything has like lower subdivision levels, it can still like crash with Transpose Master. So you have to be like careful. Also I collapsed all my layers, because you're going to end up with like blackened subtools and stuff easily. Plus, I mean, once your layers, you won't really be able to use it anymore once you pose. So I just collapse all my layers at this point. So this means that sometimes when I do like cloth fabric, I actually do it after the character is posed. Sometimes, if I really want to have a layer to alter the intensity of the details. So this you have to take in consideration. But for this character, all the cloth detail are going to be like materials and key shot later. So who cares? So yeah. All right. Hey Marco. Hello Ekta. What is that V1, V2, V3 subtool? Oh, I'm not using it. It's just different modes of visibility for the subtools. It's a new feature in ZBrush. Yeah. So yes. So you see, like for example, like whoops. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Hide this. But this is my final model here. So you see, it's pretty like heavy. It doesn't move really easily. Now that I actually have gotten rid of all my dynamic subdivisions and stuff. But you see, like the arms, I'm probably gonna want to actually like pose them after. I could even at a certain point pose the legs first. Now, because I have like this to work over, right? It's like I know like what I'm going to I know what it's going to look like. So actually, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to skip the legs, skip leg day, and I'm going to pose this part first, one at a time. And it's not going to be like the final pose right away. I might actually go back to this like amount of subtool for posing. So I want to do something else first. I go in lower resolution for all my subtools. And I just want to observe the different I just want to observe if like the topology is very different from one piece to the other. And the reason why is because it's kind of like preferable to like maybe like delete, like, so you can see like this is the lowest subdivision here, and this amount of like square seems to be like a certain constants. And I find it's always best to make sure that your object has somewhat of the same resolution for its lower level of subdivision. So this one, the squares were much bigger, so I'm actually I deleted, like I went to second level and I deleted what's like under it. And I'm going to do like the same here. So you see like this new lowest subdivision as more like an equal pixel ratio, let's call it that, a pixel ratio or polygon ratio, I should say. For elements that are not going to bend, it's not that much of a big deal actually, but for anything that's going to bend, I like to have like the squares be somewhat of like the same resolution, and you'll maybe see later why. So this one as well. Squares here are approximately the same size. Oh, not here. This inside here, a bit too low. This is not really going to move, so who cares? And you see the rest is pretty much on somewhat of the same pixel ratio. Oh, actually, this mesh was not really, it doesn't have a lot of like subdivision level to go down, so it's going to stay a little bit high. But for the rest, it's okay. We should be good. Thanks for the follow, by the way. So basically, one of the reasons is because like if I end up like, for example, like blurring, oops, oh yeah, if I end up like blurring a portion of the character, let's say I blur also this part once they're going to be joined in Transpose Master. If I'm going to mask and then blur, I know that like along all the subtools, if they have like equal topology, they're going to blur at the same ratio, because otherwise you might end up like having some objects that don't blur as much as others, and it'll start to kind of like deform in a bad way. So this is another like thing that I do to take care of the problem. So now that I made that test, I'm going to put everything on the highest subdivision level, and I'm going to start in Transpose Master. But before starting in Transpose Master, I'm going to save my project. So Mantis posed 01. Thanks, Frostburnt. Still saving. It's taking a bit. All right, there we go. So let's start posing. So I will take my reference here. I will save it into another file. Actually, this file I don't need anymore. So I always have my reference as another subtool here. Thanks for the follow. All right, and now I'm going to make sure that like the only visible things are my the things I want to move on the reference. So I go to the plugin, Transpose Master, T-pose mesh. So it's going to create myself the temporary mesh that I can pose. That pose is sexy. Thank you. I'm actually very happy of the result myself. She's looking super sassy. She is sassy. She's the sassiest of the bunch. How much poly the whole model have? I have no idea. I never counted. But as I remember from the last person that asked me on the last stream, it's like a little bit north of 100 million polys. But that was before I actually collapsed all my dynamic subdivision, so it's probably like now closer to like 120, 130 million. All right, so this is my mesh here. Important, do not activate the poly paint, or else you'll lose your poly paint when it goes back. And I will temporarily insert the reference mesh here. Be extremely careful to delete this before doing Transpose Master, or it might actually like fuck up a few things. Yes, all right. So Eva Erzigova Catwalk. Hey Marco, huge fan of your work. How long have you been streaming on Twitch? Oh my god, I started in mid of last December. So there's a couple of bunch of stuff to watch. All right, so I'll have her here, and I will actually save a layer and save a morph target. And also, you have to be super careful to collapse your layers before pressing on the button to transfer your Transpose Master, because you might actually blacken your subtools as well. So let's pose the model. So let's start with the hips as well. I'll just start by like trying to get like a rough idea of like the orientation of the bottom of the hips. And like I said, I kind of like used the move brush last time, so I might have actually have like widened the hips a bit, which is not a problem. I can widen the hip on this model as well, as long as I kind of like fix whatever looks stretched afterwards, which can be a pain in the ass. But for the benefit of like having the right silhouette, I don't mind changing the proportion even at that stage. So you see, like I clearly did make the hips larger, so I'm just going to aim for like the middle here. And sometimes I just go in solo mode and I click up and down to change between one mesh to the other. Yeah, so it needs to be a little bit. So at this point, we're going to start to enter like boring territory a little bit, because it's going to be a lot of like just getting a feeling of things. Yeah, I ended up making her like much bigger hips than I actually had at the beginning. Like you can see, like even here, there's like a lack of mass in here as well. So yeah, but yeah, that's not a huge deal. All right. So already I'm going to make a torsion. Because just to facilitate things a bit, I'll put everything in the same polygroup, and I'll start to actually divide some sections in different polygroups, like this part here. There we go. So now I can actually like mask part of it quickly. And I'll blur this. And I already know that I'm going to kind of like have like a different of like the contour is not going to bend the same way than the rest. So I might actually need to fix that by hand. And you'll see that there is actually a considerable amount of fixing by hand to be done. But this is all stuff that I anticipated already. Before I do that, since I'm gonna probably want to use Transpose Master, I'm going to create a new Transpose Master and a new layer, and I'll end up collapsing my layer. But you'll see that like for different parts that I move, I'm going to probably like add a new layer like a lot. All right, so let's do that twist here. Let's do the twist. So I like to use a Transpose Master in rotation and rotating the center like this. I'm looking at this section here right now. So it created like that stretch here. You see what I'm saying? You see how like the contour is not following the thing anymore? That's what I mean. That's the consequence of having like separate meshes, but it's fixable by hand. It's really not a big concern. There's like sometimes like things like much different things that you have to fix, like much harder things to fix sometimes. Sometimes I have to redesign completely a part that I actually was not like really like smart about. Hey, thanks for the follow. So you see, like, I'm basically like trying to get like those two lines to fit together. They will never be perfect, like perfectly aligned, let's say. But as long as you get the gesture of things, it'll feel the same in the end. And the reason why I kept a morph target is because like I can always sometimes I don't know if it's gonna work this time, but like sometimes I just go to with my morph brush and I kind of like okay, much less intensity. I'll kind of like try to like see if like I can morph back to if it's better when I kind of like morph back to how it looked before. But since there's so much like meshes one close to the other, I can't really do that. Plus, like, I don't want to stretch objects that are supposed to not change their shape. Like, I can allow for a few things to change their shape and morph, but like these like rectangles here have pretty much to stay like perfectly undeformed. So you have to be careful. I might actually like fix this part like manually, subtool by subtool afterwards. Thanks for the follow. Like here, I already know that I'm going to need to actually like kind of like push the shoulder forward here because I remember like especially making her like having like the shoulder like forward because of the momentum of the catwalk, right? Surprise. Starting to get hot here. And I mean actually the actual weather. It's crazy in Canada. Like it goes from super cold to like unbearably hot and humid in the summer. And there's like a small transition where like things are getting like the weather's just right and it's super short, at least for my taste. Only 3 degrees. Yeah, but it's still it's getting hot. Yeah, I think it's probably like a world situation. All right. So you see here at the back, I'm also like pretty much like on target. I could try to see if I can actually just like rotate the front here. So you see like this is my rotation point. So everything is going to rotate around that point. And I can see like, what if I align things to the back the way that it was? Does it like fuck up like the front view of things? Actually, no, it even makes them a little better. So that's good. That's perfect. So in terms of gesture, you see that like my torso right now pretty much like has it correctly. The masses are a bit different. I might actually need to like give her more hips. Like I can even try to maybe like give it now. See if I can widen the hips right now. But I know that like all my objects that are circular are going to start to look a bit stretched. So this I might actually need to fix later. So basically later we're going to go on a stretch hunt. This is another phrase that I'm coining, I guess. Yeah, stretch hunt. I'm going to create another layer first in case this I don't like the how I did the stretching. I lost my mask. Thought I would have kept the mask. Weird. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Do you have a mosquito in this? You have a mosquito in the summer? Not in the city, because in the city there's no like body of water for them to thrive. So no. But the moment you go in like in the country, yes, there's a ton, and I fucking hate it. I hate mosquitoes. Uh, I like that phrase. Going on the stretch hunt. That's cool. The wild hunt. I'm saying that because I saw that there was a new Witcher game coming out. Or at least that's what I understood from their advertisement. Oh, you see, like here, those circles, I'm gonna have to make sure like that there's still circles at the end, because those, it will show if actually I have, yeah, if I stretch them. Okay, so you know what? Let's not be shy about it, and let's just fix it later. And let's give her like a bit more hips. This here, I'll need to. This is going to be a bit surgical because I really don't want to hit that object. Or actually, you know what? I'll save a morph target. I really want to give her like a little bit more of that like rib cage silhouette here that she had. Here it's fine. It was just a rib cage here I wanted to fix. And what I'll do now, since I have my morph target, I'll just select a few objects that I really want to make sure that they did not stretch. And I'll bring them back to where they were before. So you see there's going to be interpenetration here, but like I can fix it later. Or now, but like later it's going to be more visible while we're doing our stretch hunt. The stretch hunt. Yeah. So you see, she doesn't have as much hip as before, but maybe it's going to be fine. And we'll see later in the while doing the final checkups and stuff. Thanks for the follow. So what tool would you use to fix the stretching of those mechanical parts? Just a move brush. Yeah, exactly. Just trying to eyeball it, and you don't need to be super perfect. It'll still look okay. Hello, Marco. How are you doing? I am doing pretty good. I hope that you're doing fine as well. So, so you see, like this circle is already like stretched a bit. So let's do like a little like warm up for our stretch hunt. A little stretching exercise for our stretch hunt. So you see with the move brush, you can basically just like get them. But you still have to avoid like major stretching. Like those are going to be like a pain in the ass. So yeah, you see like those are not perfect, but I will adjust them later. All right, so move that thing here. Oh yeah, by the way, okay, so talking about move, all right. So move brush, one important thing to know. If you're using move brush, you're moving like this compared to the camera, but if you're pressing on Alt, it actually like does it like compared to the normal. So you see it's going like really forward and backwards compared to the normal of the center of my brush, not like around the camera. So like if I want to push this inside, I can use Alt and it's going to be like much better, much easier. You see, I kind of like noticed something. The hips are not twisted enough. I think I need to like rotate them a little bit more like this. Yeah, that was missing. All right, and at the back here, it's missing a bit of mass, so maybe I can actually try to push it a little bit like this. You see it's really starting to stretch, so maybe like reduce the radius a bit. Or maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe. I'll see with I'll see later. Maybe that one I'm going to I feel like things are like falling off a bit. I don't know. Sometimes also moving things with a bigger move radius helps to actually like not really having like smaller detail looking like they're stretched, and that can actually work in your advantage. But you see, like right now, this circle does look stretched, so I might actually do like a preliminary like fixing here. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, maybe I should not be like too like crazy on this because it's gonna be taken care of later. I feel like I wanted to show you a little bit of like how I fix it, even if I wouldn't really necessarily do it at this stage, you know? But yeah. So how's the feel of that? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Are we going to fix the shoulders right away? This is the question. The rest is pretty well aligned at the top here now. Let's revise what our layers did. So you see, like from this and this, like it has more generous hips and stuff. So it was a good thing. All right, let's add a layer and let's see if we can actually fix the shoulders now. And the shoulders, there's really just like here that it's missing like some mass. Here as well a bit. Maybe we should move the head first. Yeah, let's move the head. Screen space versus object space. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's more yeah, I guess you can say that. For me, you really see it more as like using the normal of the polygon you're on to move instead of like the screen. The Pia Nura Adana is a land of demon called Asian tiger mosquito. Oh, wow. It does not sound fun. Hey, Marco, a prediction for the Stanley. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about that. We will see if the gods of hockey are good with us. All right, so I'm going to record a new morph target here because I might want to use the morph brush for this one. Come on! No, I won't. I won't say it. Okay, so my prediction is that the abs will win. The Canadian will win without one defeat. Somebody could say that it's wishful thinking, but you know what? Shut up. All right, so let's see how this will twist. Like here it will twist, and the neck is another part that is pretty problematic while moving. That's why I love to have all those cables and such, because they kind of like give you enough leeway to not look too bad. All right, so like her also like her head movement is like to the side a little bit as well, so it will not just be a question of like placing the head, but also maybe like moving part of the neck. Let's start by like placing the head exactly on top of the other. And let's look at like the stretching in the interstice. Yeah, the head was also like stretched by accident, so I don't think it's going to perfectly ever fit over. Yeah, but as long as it's like somewhat. This is pretty much on it. And let's look what it did to the neck. Hey, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, actually. You see, like, there's some parts that are actually really stretched, though. But in general, it doesn't feel like there's, like, much to clean. We'll still clean a little bit now. Let's try to straighten some parts here. Was not a really intense it was not a super intense move either, so it's pretty normal that things are like see, like this here, there's so many things. I think I'm gonna fix this one later. See, there's like a mass difference here, but I don't think that I need to change it on this one because it's actually helping my contrapposto. Contrapposto. I'll just move that here in place a bit. And I'll actually, you know what? I'll actually use my morph brush to get this one back in place a bit as well. Since it's a hard piece, it should not really bend. I want to avoid it looking like it's bending. I'm still going to bend hard surface things because sometimes it doesn't really like show too much. You see, like now we get back like this straight shape and everything, and the rest looks pretty good. Wow, cool. I thought we were going to have a ton of problem with that, but yeah, seems we got out of that one easily. Oh, but wait. Wait, no. There's something that's not really working with the head. There's something missing. Oh yeah, and when I actually am masking over an area that there's a lot of subtool, I try to really mask only with the pen brush because it kind of like applies the blurriness equally everywhere. Because the moment you're going to blur using like blur mask and that sort of stuff, like I said, it's not going to blur equally depending on the topology of each mesh. So that's why on one hand I try to have the topology as equal as possible on every mesh, but you'll never be able to really fully have it like perfectly spread. So this is why I like to spread it with the pen brush because it does spread the blurriness equally, and even on like different mesh with different topology. Thanks for the follow. So yeah, there's like a rotation here that I'm going to did I create a new layer for that? Yeah, okay, we're good. So yeah, I have to focus on the front of the head, even if like the back of the head's not working now, because I tried to actually make it look good in all angles, but my front view was like a bit. So now it's more accurate, but there's still like a bend in the head that I'm missing. So I'll probably just want to like do it to get the feel of it right. Yeah, like right now the feel is right. That didn't set. Oops. Even if the feel is right. God damn. Come on. Yeah, right. Um, now like the neck is like all stretched and stuff, so that like part didn't work as well. So you see like that stretch here, like now this is all going to need to be fixed. So I'm going to actually save a morph target, try to hide part of the head, make sure like this part doesn't move. I'll try to morph brush this back to where it was before. That's kind of good. Here I'll remove the blurriness. Is this bump here what I want, or should I? Yeah, it feels about right. So you see, like even if you do max, depending on how organic they are, or even for like really complex mechs, it's really good to have a sense of anatomy and stuff. To actually like be able to make those decisions into like having like the right shape and deformation. So even if things are rigid, this is a knowledge that will still like help you. Those 3 layers were for the head. I'm actually going to collapse them. Gonna try something here. A little bit of like morph brush. So yeah, you can see that like we're starting to get into like pretty redundant territory. Rinse and repeat-esque territory. So I know that there was a couple of questions before, so I would probably say that like it's probably the good time to ask them again if you feel so inclined. I'm checking the silhouette right now, making sure that like it still has like the same like apex and corners. Like the way like you see like those change of like silhouette of angles here are really important for like the organic like rib feel. Talking about ribs, I just started to eat ribs again now that I can fire up the barbecue without freezing my ass off, and goddamn ribs are good. Sorry for all vegan and vegetarian people out there. Ribs are delish. But you know what? I ate vegan today, so yeah, I'm trying to help in small ways. Whoops, 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 whoops. All right, we're gonna check the shoulder now. Oh wait, there's a huge loss in mass right there. How did I end up with losing so much mass here? All right, whatever, fixed. So you see that was my modification. It's not really, it's hard to see the difference, really. But yeah. Let's go for like trying to fix the shoulder a bit. And that'll be the end for this portion here. Is this a good time to ask my question? Yes, Felix, that's actually a pretty good time. Gold star for the day. Cling! Part-time vegan. I'm a part-time vegan. Trying to do it at least once or twice per week. Vegan ribs. You know what? If they're good. I like to try vegan options, and the moment that I see that it's like good enough, normally I try to go for like the vegan option, trying to, if I don't see the difference, right? Like for example, like I don't drink milk, like cow milk anymore. I actually drink almond milk. Yeah, I actually kind of prefer it. So there you go. Yeah. Helping in small ways. Moi qui voulais t'envoyer des ribs de tempeh pour ta fête. Ben vas-y, fais-les, esti. Ça va me faire plaisir, mais manger devant toi, esti, mais le manger sur le stream. My question, can you give some suggestions for people who are searching for their permanent job, or first permanent job, suggest what they should or should not do in their portfolio? How long does it take companies to review individual applications? Well, I say it's a tip I already gave on my streams. I'll repeat it. The important is to actually show really what you want to be doing. I'd say it's a good like 60-70%. You need to show what you want to be recognized for and what you want to work on. So if you want to work on Macs, you need to have Macs in your portfolio. It's also to be aware that like some positions are extremely hard to fill. Like Macs is not, there's not that much video game with Macs, so you have to like understand it, like it's almost also more rare, and you might need to be like ahead of the competition and that sort of stuff. So this is just a reality of the market for sure. But yeah, you need to show first what you really want to be doing, because or else you're just going to get a job into not really doing what you want, which can be a problem in the long run, especially for people like me. So that's something. But at the same time, you need to have like a 30-40% of things that are actually things that are useful for projects, because like something that the industries are looking for a lot is just characters with outfits. Okay, different styles. Maybe you can have like Fortnite or hyper realistic, whatever. So thanks for the follow, by the way. But you kind of like need to be able to give what the people want, and what the people want often is like clothed characters, right? People are not looking for a lot for facial. That's a very rare job, and especially now it's scans, 3D scans that are doing most of the work. So you got that. But like a lot of characters in clothing, that's for sure. So this is something that I would recommend. So just like look at like the games that are coming out and what's the actual type of asset that there is, and try to offer this. Have you ever had to deal with high volume at work? Kind of scared I won't be fast enough since I'm starting my first job. Well, Julian, I mean, the people that hire you need to understand that you're a junior. So of course, if they're giving you an unreasonable amount of work, you kind of like need to let them know that you're gonna need help and stuff. But at the same time, this is like a two-way street. At the beginning, I feel like you often have to prove yourself more, and sometimes it means like overtime until you get it right. But it's not something that's sustainable. And at some point, if you start to do it all the time, people are going to start to like assume that you will always do it, which is not good also. But at the beginning, it's kind of like normal to actually have to spend more time into making, um, like trying to acquire the skills and the speed that you might not have right now. So it's also normal, and it's something to go through for sure. When I hire people at Chaos Mason, I actually kind of like expect them to, especially when they just started with us, I kind of like expect them to maybe have to work like during the weekends and stuff to follow like our speed and stuff, but I always also give them like a bit of a bit of slack at the beginning because I know they won't be like on the top of their game necessarily yet. But like I said, it's a two-way street. You kind of like have to make the people understand the mentor you correctly, because that's also what you want, right? You want your boss to be able to mentor you a bit, especially at the beginning. At some point, you have to be able to fly free. All right, we might be done for that piece. Maybe we're gonna like go again in like Transpose Master, but for the moment, it kind of feels there seems to be like a different like weight distribution around the neck here, but I'm kind of feeling that it might not be a problem. So I will reserve. I might fix it only later. We'll see. All right. So like I said, before we transpose back, delete your your morph target. I don't think it really does a lot, but whatever. But collapse your layers. Make sure the polypaint is off. Delete that from here, and make sure that in your original mesh, if you came back to this, make sure it's still on the same subtool. This is just to be safe, but like this should actually prevent us from like having any issues. And let's this always like twists like makes knots in my stomach because maybe we lost all that time, but let's hit that button and make sure it transfers correctly. Interesting. Thanks for the insight. No problem, Felix. Got it. Thank you. No problem, Julian. Um, wait, you guys hire people? Are you guys still hiring? We're always hiring. Base level, we're always hiring. So just send your curriculum, and we always keep all the curriculum that are sent our way. Portfolio, I mean, sorry. We always keep them, and we keep a database of them and stuff. And so feel free. Oh, also pro tip: Transpose Master actually goes faster if you're in solo mode before you click on the button. Same thing for Subtool Master when you do like multi-append and stuff. All right, so there you go. So did it work? Yep, seems like it worked. So now you can actually go ahead and remove symmetry on all those unsymmetrical subtools. Asymmetrical, sorry. It's taking some time. Probably at the end. There we go. All right. Oh, what is that? I am getting raid by Lubac Lavora. Party of 23. My God. That is pretty cool. Hey, thanks for the follow. So, yeah, hey, Lubac Lavora, thank you. Thanks for that. Do you care to share your where you're coming from so that people can follow you back and such? I'm actually gonna go and give you a little follow here. I am curious. It's really cool. That's great. That is great. Thank you so much. That is really appreciated. Zato Tech Noir. Hey, yo, poggers. I don't know what poggers mean. I hope it's not a bad term. Miss Claudino. Nice little cute Mew right there. So yeah, for anybody that's actually coming in, that just came in, we are posing, we're making the final pose for this character. Which this is just a test for the pose. But right now we're going around the actual high-res final mesh and posing it for our final pose. So we just came out of Transpose Master with that. And what we're going to do right now is the long-awaited stretch hunt. I should have like a stamp on the screen like stretch hunt. Damn, this is some Warframe stuff. No, this is just my own style. I never played Warframe. I know what it is though, but no, it's not a. I'm not trying to mimic Warframe. Stretch hunt. Let's do it. That reminds me of Warframe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. It's not my intention. Like I said, I don't really have reference of Warframe. I think it's cool. I think the style is really cool, and at some point I might actually want to study the style and to do something like that. But this is really just my own style that I developed in myself. All right, stretch hunt, stretch hunt, stretch hunt. Let's do it. Okay, so let's start by the bottom here and see. And what I'll do is I'll especially look at either like clipping areas like this here or like circles. Like for example, this circle here. Hey, thanks for the follow. It's hunting time. Let's do it. So you see like this circle is actually stretched. Like you see like this, it would actually look better. But the problem is that there's one on the other side, right? So we're going to do it by hand instead. Hey, thanks for the follow as well. So I'm just going to like crush it like this here. And sometimes maybe even like what's around it a little bit in case it showed. This was really minor. This was more to show like the example. This one is almost not noticeable, so I'll just skip this one. Let's look at those here. Like this one, it's really going to show more if like it's stretched. But this one is pretty decent. I don't feel like I really need to change it. Maybe like the circle here a little bit. This one maybe needed a little bit more. Other side. You see they're pretty decent. This one might be a bit stretched like this. I can find your application page. Do you hire through emails? No, you just go on. So at the bottom of the screen, right there, boom, boom, boom. This link here. Just type it in your URL. You'll have like the complete list of our social medias. You go on the Chaos Mason webpage, and on the Chaos Mason webpage, there's a contact us form that you can fill. And this is how you send us your application if you wish to work for Chaos Masons. All right, so stretch hunt. Let's stretch and hunt for stretches. But first we stretch because there's going to be some serious stuff. Wow, you see how it like popped out of the mesh here? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's always some stuff to fix afterwards. But I mean, like, we did pose like an entire section like pretty quickly in a sense. So there's that. Okay, let's fix that clipping thing now. Just this one here. Let's have it hug the mesh, and then we'll fix the cloth part. I am thirsty for stretches. Thirsty for blood. Oops. Oh, actually, I canceled the autosave, but I'm actually going to go and save this here. Now that I have this like entire section closed. So yeah, it's fun because we already posed like a big chunk of this character. Some areas are going to be like much easier to pose, like the arms, they're going to be like easy peasy. The legs might be a little bit harder, like around the ass, because it's all like mesh and stuff, actual mesh, I mean meshing. And I know that like it might cause a little bit of trouble, but it should be all right. No stretches are safe with Marco on the case. Mesh stretches beware. I'll get you. This is also where I'm gonna try to fix if I have like a interpenetration that I didn't fix before, or at least like the big offenders. Okay, so yeah, those tubes here, I remember that they gave me a little bit of trouble. So let's push them in a little bit. There we go. So you see that like some areas, like I should not like fight to fix it when I'm actually in Transpose Master and just fix it, even if it's subtool by subtool. At the end, there's still like a little empty space here. I guess that I'll fix it like this. This is still protruding a little bit more. A little bit too much, I mean. Okay. All right. So, and everywhere that I didn't really like use the mask to move is probably going to actually have like little to no stretch at all. So I already know where to look for the those like imperfections, right? And also I'll have to be careful. Like this character, I'm actually probably gonna have not much trouble in that area. But something that also you have to be really careful about is like all your cloth folds. Um, like you see, there's already like something here I'm going to need because while moving, like this fold actually really pinched and is now extremely narrow, and I wanted to actually keep the same nature as before, so having like being thicker and that sort of stuff. So I'm actually going to fix it. I just first want to fix the contour here. Okay, let's fix that fold. I'll use a mix of inflate brush and smooth. Smooth, 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 inflate. There we go. Maybe a little bit of standard brush. Huh? Not too strong. 10. There you go. Trying to get that quality back. Not quality as like beautiful, but quality as in like the quality of the type of the material. Well, I mean, of course, I'm trying to make things look good as well, but I mean the, you know, whatever, whatever, man. It's probably going to be good enough like this. Well, the folds here are not really making sense anymore. Might need to change them a little bit as well. Let's use a more visible subtool, lower the subdivision level for my brush strokes to actually be more potent. Hey, thanks for the follow. Just wanted to clarify. Earlier, you were saying sometimes you do certain cloth pieces after posing. Yes, when they have like huge contortion, or if like the character is like flying like this, and it's like a cape in the wind. There's no reason to like do it like before, and especially if there's like something around like the shoulders here, like I might do it like after, because I know that there's going to be some major stretching, and the whole like, for example, like if like your torso is like going like this, well, the folds are going to be extremely specific to the movement, and I sometimes that I will actually keep it after the pose. So it's really just a question of like knowing like how much does the pose influence changes on your object. And because if you actually like work too much on it in the T-pose, you will lose all the work. So it's really a question of like habit and like remembering like, okay, yeah, no, this I'm going to waste time later, so I might as well do it now. Hey, do we have a sub? Chaos 3D? Oh my fucking god. Thank you for the sub. It's really great. With your sub, I am going to buy more churros. I today went to take a walk with the family, and we went to a churros shop, and we bought churros, and I still have one in the fridge that might not be anymore later, because churros are quite good. So you know what? Thanks for the sub. I will eat that churro while thinking about you. That churro won't make it through the night. It won't. It won't. Hey, what's that? Do I have another sub? Eternian. Eternian. Oh my god. The amount of churros that I'm going to eat will be legendary. Legendary. Ugh, Eternian. And I will, because of you, I'll be able to buy uh, 2 sauces and not just one to go with my churros. I will be able to have the caramel, salty caramel, the um, and the dulce de leche. So, Internian, thank you for your great sacrifice right there. What's going on? They've subscribed for 2 months, currently on a 2-month streak. Oh my god. Well, we have to celebrate with churros, Turnian. What? What are we not doing? Not eating churros right now? All joke aside, I'm kind of like thinking that like maybe eating the churro too late might not be the best healthy idea, but it will it will be eaten at some point, that's for sure. So you see, like the cavity here is not really like feeling it. I'm actually gonna try to smooth it out. By the way, I'm using directional smooth right now since I'm not in symmetry anymore. Directional smooth doesn't work in symmetry, or it creates artifacts, let's say. And it actually helps to kind of like not lose the mass that is in the direction of like your strokes when you're using smooth brush. So yeah. So you see, for this side, this actually might be good for the moment. Thanks for the follow. And I will actually revise. So you see, like those folds here, they don't make sense anymore at all because of the movement of the body. So it's funny, I was actually not expecting to have to rework those, but hey, you know what? It's perfect. So let's smooth that and rework those folds. Oh, actually, I need to rework the shape itself first. This should be closer to the body. It's kind of like bumping out too much. Eat it now, do it now. Do it. Get to the churro. Ah, it's a funny meme right there. I cannot do an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. Get to the churro. Whatever. I'm not a voice actor. Don't tease me. It's my first time, don't tease me. Does anybody know what's that reference from? It might be really obscure. Or like what that inside joke is from. It's more of an inside joke. I'll give you a hint. It's a YouTube channel. Hey, thanks for the follow. So the answer was it's from Game Grumps. You'll probably hear it if you listen to a best of. All right. So because like this part is actually stretched, it's not really going to have like much folds. I just still want to have maybe like a little bit of a suggestion of like the movement that the fold would actually have. Oops. And also, please also remember that there are masses under, like those like tubes here. Like I could actually also like work my volumes to work with those. So for people asking like how much time something takes, So for like the posing and everything, like I like to take a good like full day that I might actually like 8 hours that I will spread into like maybe 2-3 days to do like the posing test and posing the actual model. Like for a character like this, like in one day I can have it like completely posed easily. So like 8 hours. I mean, when I mean one day, I more mean like 8 hours. I don't get to full work on like full days anymore because of my job. So like yeah, when I say full day, I just mean like 8 hours. Hey, thanks for the follow. All right. Maybe I'm gonna want to reintroduce a bit of like the folds there now that it's actually recompressing in that area a bit. There you go. Yeah, and man, seriously, explaining the theory of like cloth and that sort of stuff can be like a real pain in the ass. But my best tip about doing like sculpting cloth by hand is really remember that wow, I just know that expression in French, actually. I don't know it in English. Rien ne se perd, rien ne se crée. What's the equivalent in English? With the actual expression, not just the translation. Rien ne se perd, rien ne se crée in English. Uh, nothing is lost, nothing is created. No, that's like way too literal. What's the actual equivalent? Which goes to show nothing is lost, nothing is created, everything is transformed. Okay, no, I guess that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, that's basically the idea. Is like nothing. Yeah, things are just transformed, right? So like you have like your like your T-shirt, and you can't like add mass here without losing mass like here, for example. So and same thing when it wrinkles. Like if it wrinkles, like you're kind of like losing mass somewhere. So take that in consideration. Okay, so I might revisit those folds later, but I kind of like I want to. Well, I'm okay. I just said I want to change, but I am just seeing something right now that doesn't pass my quality check. All right, that might do it. I wonder if like I should actually extend those a little bit more in the. I just figured out I'm like the master at saying that I'm done with something and actually spending like another 15 minutes at it. Oh my god. Should be alright for the moment. Okay, for real. Not for real. Oh my god, man. Oh, I hate myself sometimes. Okay, are we really done now? Are we? Okay, you know what? Let's go. Let's. Oh my god, man. Okay, all right. So let's start looking for the rest of the stretching on this character. So you see, like I'm just going to try to maybe give a little bit more of like a natural curve with this part here. By the way, yes, I'm still on the cloth, but it doesn't count like doing the same thing because like I'm not fixing wrinkles, okay? Get off my back while I fix her back. Wink, wink, wink. I am funny. All right. All right, it should be all right. Should be all right. I have to try the Marvelous Designer workflow for clothing. Yeah, absolutely. I have to learn Marvelous Designer. It's a great tool to know. Pretty essential in the industry. But you also have to know how to sculpt by hand and yeah. Also, another skill is to use know how to use 3D scans is another great tool to have. It's really good to know the three: sculpting by hand, 3D scans, and Marvelous. All right, let's go around the neck here. Yeah, I remember being like pleasantly surprised that I didn't have like much problems in this area. Oh, I see something weird here. What's that? The huh, weird. I don't feel that that was actually caused by the moving. I think this is actually you can combine them using Marvelous Designer to get the cloth quickly, get the clothing quickly, get the folds to as close as possible, then retopo by using transfer attribute and Maya. Oh yeah, no, but that's exactly what you need to do. This is the part of like the skills of like being efficient is not having to have everything perfect in one software and really using thanks for the follow, really using all the software in your advantage, all the different software in your advantage. Like when I use Marvelous Designer, I use like 5%, 10% just to have like a base for it, and then the rest I do by hand. Or same goes with 3D scans as well. See, like this one, like you can see that the circle was stretched. Those little things there were majorly. Yeah, this mesh here is really stretched, but it's so small that I might actually not spend too much time on it because it's not going to be worth the effort so much. Will your beetle statue be for sale? Oh, I'm trying to have it for sale, but it's I might actually only have it in 10 inches because having it in 15 inches just costs so expensive in shipping. Like nobody would buy it. Like shipping price have gone like through the roof since COVID, and the beetle is like really like a huge character, which means he weighs a lot, and like the weight of things is a contributor for shipping rates. So yeah, I have to. I'm waiting for my manufacturer to come back to me so we can actually like figure out what we're gonna do about that. But he's pretty busy. Wrap 3D was pretty useful to know when I was dealing with DigiDouble when I was doing movie stuff. Yeah, I heard about Wrap 3D. Seems pretty good actually. Never tried it, but I saw it work and I was pleasantly surprised. Shh, we won't tell if you don't. Sorry, what was that again about Josh? I kind of like forgot what you were referencing. He's a big boy. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, okay, I know. That little like detail thing. I see that part is super stretch. You know what I could do about this part here? And a little small piece, yeah. So you see, like this is like part is so stretched that one thing I could do is actually go undo until the move and replace it by hand. But for that, I will actually have the finishing mesh. I created a duplicate, and I'm actually going to pose it back here because I stretch it so much that I'm actually pretty much going to fight against it instead of just like replace it over. Oops. Okay, I'll polish it after. Hey, by the way, I actually started to watch a new show. Well, my dad showed me a show he was watching, and I actually thought it was pretty funny. It's very not lighthearted. I mean, there's some like heavy stuff and sad stuff and whatever and cool stuff. It's a I'm trying to say it's a pretty simple show. It's not like super complex and like deep with like extreme twists and stuff. It's more like a fun ride, kind of like a let's say like The Office. Like The Office is not a complex show, but it's great because it has some really great characters and values and this and that or whatever. Um, so yeah, no, I watched this show. It's called Ted Lasso. Ted as in Theodore, Lasso. Pretty good. I for people who love comedy and like a bit of drama, I recommend it. It's pretty good. It's the story of American football coach that gets hired to train. Well, gets hired to move to the UK to train a team that has been losing for a long time, and he was such a good like he was able to take like a it's not exactly that, but like the something crazy like take a minor league like team and having them become like a major league whatever. I'm not explaining it accurately, but you get the idea. Like he did a miracle with kids. So they're like, oh well, maybe he's going to be able to do a miracle with like our soccer team, European football. It's pretty good. And it's not really about the sport. Like I'm not that much of like a sport person, so I can guarantee that like you don't need to be a fan of sport like at all. Like I said, it's really more like a drama comedy. So yeah, a little suggestion there. But it's like an Apple original, so I don't even know where to watch it. My dad just showed me like his stuff. Like I didn't pay attention what it was on. Imagine half of your viewers just ran off to watch it. Exactly. And talk about anything. Hello there. Quick question. Can you show us or talk a little about the material you're using now? Thanks in advance. By the way, love your work, Chaos Masons. Um, all right. Well, the material is just those ones here. It's like this gray normal material that is basically the same as the standard gray, but like in matte cap form. And then you have like the metal one here, which is like a derivative of the normal metal that comes with ZBrush, but I just uppered the diffuse. Then you have like basic material, which is an actual material here. That's for like cloth and stuff that has less reflectance. And blend here is for like plastics and stuff. It's all the standard material in ZBrush. I just applied a poly paint on it. And it's more about like the choice of material that makes for like the richness of everything. So the materials themselves are not complex at all. It's really just a question of like making good choices and creating like this like nice like mini difference of ooh, this is going to need some unstretching here. Seems like the stretch hunt is oh, look at that here. Oh, that's a big offender. Oh, come here, you. Come here. Let me fix you. There we go. That should help. And I'm going to have to also fix the tubes. Oh, this one was actually okay. This one was almost okay. This one is a bit stretched. There we go. Oh yeah, this part kind of like unfortunately stretched a bit more than I wanted. All right, recovered. There we go. You see, this area is actually a little bit more long and tedious to fix, but it's going well. Like you see, like I was afraid that those two circles there would be really stretched, but they actually are not bad at all. So this here will this here is absolutely going to stretch somewhere. The goal is to kind of like make it look like it's transitioning correctly. And the head looks pretty untouched actually, so that's pretty good. What's your best tutorial for learning this kind of hard surface stuff? God of Birds on our website. Thanks for the follow. So if you go down here in this link here, right here, you can go to the Chaos Mason store and you'll find cool stuff. Let's go for a second. Huh? Let's all go to the Chaos Mason store. So actually, if you click on the link, well, that's the link for my stuff, and that's the link for Chaos Mason stuff. A lot of them redirect in the same place. But here, if you go to store, it'll put you directly to the Chaos Mason shop here. And if you look at the bottom here, there's a couple of collectibles we're selling. Those are like the one that are coming soon, hopefully. A couple are sold out. Tutorials, there you go. This one's pretty good. This one is the one that's been the most bought in terms of like hard surface and whatnot, but this one is actually also pretty good. This one is rendered in Keyshaw, this one is rendered in Zbrush. Yeah, we're also selling STLs and merch. There we go. So that's my publicity of the day. And I would love so much to see models like this animated. Yeah, I would love to see it as well. But like I say to people, hey, no problem. Like I say to people, if I was to really animate this character, I would probably have to do tests with a rigger to make sure that all the it's possible to make movements and such. Because the way I modeled her, I didn't really like put myself too much stress on having everything like everything like perfectly animatable. Oh damn! I didn't realize there's actually clipping here. Oh, heresy! I'm actually have to fix that now. I'll just do a simple, sorry, simple clip brush like this. No. All right. Crisis averted. You Piece of shit. Oh, actually, it doesn't even show. Haha. Alright. Kind of like clean it real quick, but alright. Not bad. But yeah, I mean, like the head, we didn't do really much stretching around it, so I mean, the rest looks like it's pretty clean already. Kind of feel that there's something still weird about this part here. Oh, that's good. So right now I don't see anything, so I'll probably just go to the next thing and I'll revisit afterward to see if my eye catches anything. Because so far, so good, it feels like. There's still some little like stretching here and there, but nothing that's going to actually really be a problem, I feel. All right. So we have the head and the body that is actually maybe complete. We'll see later with the rest, but this means that we can actually go now to the next thing, which will probably be the legs. Do you retopo them? No, I don't. Retopo is boring. Man, I would love. Well, no, it's boring. It's essential, but since I actually do this mostly for like possibly printing, I don't need to retopo. I watched the God of Birds, and it's so interesting how different your workflow is. It seems like Cedric likes to work with multiple subtools from the start. Also, oh yeah, in terms of like designing and getting like the main things, yeah, it's a bit different, but essentially it comes down to the same. In this Dynamesh, is this Dynamesh or subdivision? It was Dynamesh when it was blocking, and it became subdivision when it became the final mesh. Are you usually the person who makes major decisions on hiring application? Do you guys like hire junior position artists? Uh, we don't hire a lot of juniors. You have to have like since we're like a luxury outsourcing company. You do have to have like a pretty advanced skill set for sure. But sometimes people are junior, but they're talented, and we hire them. So like it's junior in terms of like life experience is not a problem for us. It's more like, are you junior in the sense like how much like hand holding do you need, and that's going to be a factor depending on the project that we have available as well. And if I'm one of the person that does the hiring, I am part of it. It's a group decision most of the time. All right, I think we're good. I think we're good with that part here. Let's save this and give me 1 minute, everyone. I will go do something, and I will be back in 1 or 2 minute max. All right, be right back. All right, we're back, we're back, we're back. Does anybody care to know what I went doing? I think it's time for a poll, huh? Am I right? A little 2-minute poll, yeah, there you go. What did I just did during the break? Okay. Yeah, this is going to be good for this character. Perfect. I'm going to delete the traces of my other Transpose Master. And next are going to be the legs. Is it going to be the legs or the arms? I think I'll just do like a easy one and I'll do the arm. I'm pretty sure the arms are going to be easy actually. Yeah, let's do the arms. For the arms, I would probably be best if I actually also have the body, so I know if it connects well one into the other. Oh, do I want to do that? It would be good to have it. Maybe, okay, you know what? I'll try something. Let's save again. I know I just saved, but I just want to make sure I'm doubly safe. Like putting 2 condoms. All right, the poll ended. 2 votes. 2 votes? We have 51 viewers and 2 votes on my poll. Come on. And the 2 votes are right. All of the above. Can I see who voted? Doesn't seem so. Anyways, I guess I won't be doing polls anymore. I thought we had fun last time. Last Sunday, we had polls after another. It was the greatest days of our lives. All right, so let's do something. It might crash. I'm being lazy right now, but I'm going to do emerge visible so that everything merges into one subtool. It's going to be extremely heavy, but like I think my computer can handle it. There we go. Thank you, Felix, for voting. Your contribution is well received. So this is the mesh that everything is connected into one thing. What I'll do is I'll actually like dynamesh it into, oh, I don't know how heavy it should be. Let's try 600. And let's see if like dynamesh doesn't crash. Bourbon's pretty good. I think I'm gonna start to actually buy whiskey again though. There's just something I find that whiskey has, bourbon doesn't. All right, so it's taking a lot of time. This is not a good sign. I won't be able to, like, if it actually takes like that much more time, it might actually just be that it crashed. So I need to remember this delay thing. I said I vote one when you were asking if you can see who voted. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry for your delay. Josh is always down for the poll. All right, well, this might be a crash, everyone. This might be a crash. I don't know how much more time. Can I cancel this? Oh, see, that's why I saved. That's why I saved. You know what? I'm not gonna wait anymore. I know how to redo this without the crash. So let's not waste time. You know, it's funny to say, but one of the thing about ZBrush is that the more you use it, the more you know when it crashes and why it crashes. And it's actually in your benefit to be accustomed like this. So cheers to that. Cheers to ZBrush crashes. Crashes. Jesus Christ. Hey, thanks for the follow. All right, we're back, baby. What's all that shrugging? All right, so what we'll do this time is we'll just put everything to the lowest subdivision level before redoing the same thing. Will be lower in quality, but should be good enough. So mirror visible, put everything back to highest subdivision level. All right, now let's go here. Let's do the Dynamesh again. There we go. All Dynamesh in one piece. The resolution is good enough. And I will be using this to help. We'll clone this as well. And let's just show the arms. And let's transpose master this now. Does anybody have another question they wanted to ask? Because we're actually getting into like rinse and repeat territory over here. Oh, I forgot to. Yeah. Am I gonna need to? Yeah, well, I'm gonna redo it. Yep, I'm gonna redo it. I forgot to make sure that like my topology is not too low for certain subtools. Okay, that should be all right. All high. How do you know if a person who apply for the junior position won't need much handheld? Well, I just see it by the portfolio. I just see like the quality of like what they have to do. Like I see what's missing, the polish that's missing, or like does that person have the fundamentals? Do they need just a little push with the polishing and that sort of stuff? Do they don't have the fundamentals? Um, that sort of stuff. Of course, it goes without saying that like everybody that we hire needs to have solid fundamentals for sure. But sometimes when I see like stuff that is just like, oh, it's not quite there. Like I know how to teach like to get that thing, but like somebody that doesn't know anatomy, it's kind of like hard because we can't teach anatomy. Anatomy is like such a complex thing to learn, right? All right, let's insert our pose here, and I'll actually also insert this one. And this one I'm going to use to make sure that the placement is all right because we have kind of like a difference here. So I can't not solely use this one as reference, but we'll still start with this one here. So let's take a visible color. You saw my portfolio once, right? How did my look? I won't really answer that in public. This feels more like a personal question to answer on another time. I don't necessarily want to do portfolio reviews online. So you see, this arm is going. The reason why it's going to be relatively easy to do it's because I pretty much haven't done really much bending. There's like a bending at the elbow, but like there's not that much like deformation, or there shouldn't actually. If I somewhat place it over, we should actually be good to go very quickly. Oh, no problem. No reason to be sorry, Felix. It's like you didn't know that. So this is just me saying it. I just realized how much I want to play Elden Ring right now. I want to play Elden Ring so bad. But I have a character to pose. I can't just play Elden Rings like. Plus, I just like did something pretty insane last time I played, so I'm really looking forward to continue it. Like I'm gonna try to not spoil anything, but did anybody try to beat Radon? Man, I've been resisting since I installed it. Pretty much use it as treats now. Yes, same for me. Yeah. I'm trying to keep like a good rhythm of like my personal projects, so I'm trying to not like overdo it, but it's pretty hard because it's got its claws in me for sure. So we're gonna mask all of that, and we're going to place this in the center of the rotation here. The elbow is going to intersect like that. I actually have not done correctly. It was not a wise choice to design it this way. There's a little rotation needed there also. Oh. But yeah, I'll need to redesign the elbows a bit now, Or maybe just like move them a little bit. That was not the wisest choice I did. So yeah, did anybody try to go fight Radon, how you want to pronounce it? Or does anybody know who I'm talking about anyway? All right, I guess not. Just here by myself, talking to myself. Now that's chaos theory. I'm getting killed by those damn flying blade chickens. I don't think I've reached that far. You mean the ones in the Godfrey Castle? Godric Castle, I mean. Not familiar with that person. Yeah, he's a optional boss somewhere. It's like basically the equivalent of the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3 if I had to make a comparison. No worries, Felix. So you see, like, this arm is never really going to be exactly like the other one because there was like some stretching that deformed it. So I'm going to actually have to do with that. And it's not a question of rotation because like it's already rotated like outwards. I don't think it's gonna be really a problem that it's not like a line like this. A gesture should probably like be somewhat like close enough, I guess. Never thought robots were sexy till I saw this. Yes, very, very femme fatale. Sure, Felix. Takes a lot to offend me. This one has also the elbow to fix a bit. Yeah, this one is pretty basically flush on it. Maybe a little twist is needed. No, this one is flush on it, so perfect. All right, so you see now that the arm is posed, actually, you know what? I'll fix the elbow later, after the transpose. So now I'll actually like see if it really does fit with the actual mesh that I've just posed earlier. Hey, thanks for the follow. Sam, if I'm going to make something with a complex pose, normally I try to do that like since the blocking stage. If I'm doing something that I know it's not going to be like a crazy pose or anything, normally I kind of like get lazy and I just do it after the high res, like I did for this character here. So you see, there's a lot of interpenetration with the back here. Like I might need to part actually here to kind of like allow for it to go inside. Hey, thanks for the follow. It's field fix. Hey. A new project will be coming next Thursday. Well, for me, it's Wednesday, by the way. Next Thursday. Well, next Thursday I might be showing like how I do the compositing for the rendering, and then it will probably be a new project on the week after. So yeah, you see, like there's going to be like some interpenetrating here to fix. So yeah, I might actually like do even some asymmetrical redesign to actually like make this fix. So this is going to be interesting. But in terms of like the arm placement, like it should be all right like this otherwise. So yeah, I guess that we can commit to that. Should be all right. All right, let's do this. Let's commit to this. So remove morph target, remove layers. Okay, no layers, perfect. Delete what's not supposed to be there. And then transpose master to the original. Are we good? Are we good? Yes, we should be good. All right. That's we'll can't wait to see. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I might actually work on my Archangels project. Or I actually have two other ideas. One that I talked earlier, I was talking about maybe doing Frog from Chrono Trigger in the world of Elden Rings. And I was also thinking maybe of doing this one is a little bit more obscure, but there's a comedy festival in Quebec that's called Just for Laugh, and the mascot is like a pudgy green demon with like long red horns, and it's been that mascot for years, like from even before I was born, maybe. And this mascot always made me laugh. And I was actually like thinking of maybe like making like a more like updated, like grim version of it. Sam Media, hey, what's up? Yeah, Transpose Master is the shit. Oh, it's a Sam party. You both have the Sam name. Sam, same name. All right, that was a bad one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. All right, let's get the head back here. So you see, like, yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out for all the for all the interpenetration that's happening. It shouldn't be that bad. Here is like a pretty big offense though, but should be okay. All right, let's look at it. So yeah, for this part, I'm probably just gonna like move brush it, be somewhat lazy with it. Nobody will know if nobody says anything. This will be another one of our little secrets. Ooh. Oh no, that's actually working well here. Yeah, that's actually working well here as well. Okay, cool. We're good, we're good. I'm just stretching my back. Stretching my back before the stretch hunt. Okay, let's start with the easy fixes. Ooh boy. Should have masked. Oh, I forgot to remove my my symmetries. There you go, should be good. Ooh, rated by Living Vertex himself. How's it going, Living Vertex? Raid. Raid forever. So you see, like I'm gonna start to really do some like kind of like changes to the design just to facilitate everything. It's gonna be easier than like fixing everything. Hey, thanks for the follow. Will there be a STL file for this XE robot print? I want to see it on my desk. No, not an STL, but I'm going probably to try to have it done in a collectible, like garage kit. All right, so that actually is not bad. Not bad. Here it's kind of like working with all the other plates around. Here I'm going to need to fake some details because now we can see what's under and we see that it's not fully done. I try to actually have like the modifications both on each sides, also keep some symmetry. Now like this like ball here is a bit too much on the other details. There's enough space to move it without... Actually, you know what? This is going to create like a deformation, but like one that we won't see. So I'm actually going to allow myself to do it just by pushing it like this a bit. But I will also grab this piece here and kind of like bringing out like this. A little bit of both directions, eh? So that pretty much fixed it. On the other side. Yeah, so there's going to be the back here to fix. There's going to be the inside part now that is visible. And for this one, there's also some cloth that needs to be moved. So let's do it by hand. Um, I'm gonna go to bed in an hour or so, but saying an early good night since I'm gonna be focusing on my project, which I probably won't be typing and chatting more. All right. Keep lurking. Have a good one, Felix. How do you get those made? Do you have to know a manufacturer personally? I mean, I do it myself. I have a 3D printer at the back of my office here, but this is more for like prototyping for my pleasure. If I want to actually do something professional, I kind of like need to actually ask a professional to do it for me. If I'm going to sell like some of my products and like ship it internationally, I'd rather have like somebody to help me. Hello, wow, it looks awesome. Thanks, the Gruber. Right, so let's hide the arm section a little bit. So you see, like I did have like to move like all of those here to kind of like give me a chance with the clipping around this area, but not that much of a big deal actually. It's all stuff that I can just like fix easily. It's somewhat of a major fix, but major change, I mean, but one that still works. You see, and with just that, we're probably going to be good enough. Might need to move that one as well. Yep, that's how it was attached. All right, what does it look with the arm now? All right, you see? Fixed it. Looks good. Yeah, looks good now. Perfect. It almost looks like it was meant to be this way. All right, here the cloth need to be changed. So now I'm gonna attack like the inside parts and then the back. To leave myself a note to not forget, I'm going to put that asset blue kind of like as a reminder to like, hey, don't forget about this. But for the moment, let's go on this part here. And let's save that as well. While it's saving, let's change the music. Let's put some Weird Al Yankovic. I'm staying in the old school stuff. How long does it take to usually finish something like that? About 2 weeks. If I work back to back, 8 hours per day. And I will also put that blue so it's actually like readable easily. Like it's going to be like cheat city to as long as it somewhat gives the impression this is going to be enough for me. Plus the detailing is like There you go. That's like a fake thing here. I won't even need to do it on the other side because we don't even see that there's an interpenetration, at least for the back part. But for the front here, I'll need to work on a little something something. Hey, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Keep him coming. Keep him coming. Thank you. Keep him coming even more. Let's get the follow train choo-chooing. That might be just enough. For the inside mechanical part, at least. Now on to the blue part. And I think when we're going to be done with the blue part, I think we're going to call it a night. Because, yeah, it's getting late. I'll probably work on fixing the rest of this model on my end. Because the rest is a lot of rinse and repeat that might be boring. And then I'll render her. Yep. You thought my camera froze, but then I blinked. It was, it was sorry. I was looking at something. I was trying to find a song on Spotify. All right. Like what I'm gonna do for like this part is I'm actually going to do like a total like redesign of like what the part should look like. I'll put a layer on though, since I'm going to be like a drastic change. Like it's going to be like a simple change in design, but still a drastic one. Like a simple clipping of the shape. I kind of like allow myself to do that kind of stuff because I know it's the back of the character and it's not that super important. No? Oh, that part actually needs to be moved a bit. I didn't notice that. Here I'm just trying to actually like push things forward in the word a little bit. As long as it looks like there's like a compression or like a change of shape before it actually clips in, it's going to, the illusion is going to be good enough. Like I wouldn't bother like much more about it. The illusion is still going to be there. All right, Prama, don't panic. I'm going to actually find another song. Found it. All right, so and now for the part that is going to be a bit more complex is doing the symmetry of that here. I'll actually save like a screenshot of that here. So like the cut was going actually kind of like this. Something like that. I am listening to Weird Al Yankovic, and the song I am listening to right now is Hardware Store by Weird Al Yankovic. Listening to Weird Al Yankovic is another way of saying, yes, I am over 30 years old. It's like so 90s. But you know what? Can't live a lie anymore. I'm starting to become an older gentleman. It started 2 years ago when I started to have severe stomach aches. And I was like, oh boy, there you go. There you go. Stomach ache, then the man bod. The dad bod, I mean. That actually wasn't that bad. How's your alcohol tolerance with age getting better? Which is not a good thing. It's yeah, it's more like really just the tolerance itself, because I do am like much more careful than I was before, much more like reasonable with like it's time to party or not. Like I don't party anymore really, right? Like I have friends over when we have a nice supper and stuff or whatever, play board games, that sort of stuff, but like spending all night like drinking and playing games with my friend or going out with the bar to the bars until like it closes and stuff, and then going to the after parties and everything. This is something that I am not doing anymore. And to be frank, not missing it. I am not missing it at all. I had fun, but I'm good now. I'm good. I got this one friend who's like crazy though, and like he still like want to make me do like crazy stuff or whatever. But like since I have the kid now, it's more like tamed down. But yeah, I it's the kind of friend that I was like, yeah, feel like I need to stay I cannot be too close to that friend because every time I'm with him, it just like ends up like in like, crazy fucking stuff. So thanks for the follow. But yeah, my tolerance is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm the kind of person, and I've always been like this, but like it's with age, it's even better. I guess if we can say better. But I've always been like the kind of person that can actually like I can do a lot even when I drink. Like even when I start slurring and everything, I can still like my all my head is there, all my judgment is there. Very reasonable person. So yeah, no, good tolerance. Do I smoke weed sometimes? I used to smoke weed a lot when I was working at for the government because I hated my life. But actually, I don't really like. I stopped. I stopped smoking weed when I started the school in well my 3D school, right? Um, I stopped because I was just like not able to finish my homeworks correctly, and I was really serious about becoming a 3D artist. So I actually by default I weeded it I weeded it out. I weeded out the weed, and yeah, I don't miss it because I also kind of started to actually like have anxiety after when smoking. So I was like, it kind of like it caught up to me. Hey, thanks for the follow. It kind of like caught up to me. So like I know that I need to be like careful with that. But like I did like at some point like before my well like a lot of months before we started to talk about having kids. Like we just naturally like stopped. But like me and my wife, we had like a moment where like for 1 year maybe we smoked once in a while, and we did stuff like watching like Planet Earth, the documentary about animals with David Attenborough. We were like watching that while we were high and stuff, and that was a good time. So I have nothing wrong to say about weed and stuff. It's more that like it doesn't work with my lifestyle anymore. But that being said, I still bought. Um, it's not. Well, I guess it's considered edible. It's like oil, basically THC oil. I never used it though. I haven't found the right time. Like I don't want to be high and close to my friend, close to my kids. So yeah, I'm trying to just make right choices. So I'll really just like use that if like ever like my wife goes out to see like her parents or whatever, and she goes with a kid. I might like chill and try it because I have to find the right dosage because I did try it a bowl a few times, and I one time I got the right dosage and it was like a superb experience. I loved it. And two, three other times I didn't get the right dosage and it was a complete fucking nightmare. So I don't want to have a this kind of like nightmare in front of my kid or close to him. So yeah, I'm just trying to be careful. Man, I get a hangover while I'm drinking my first beer. Doesn't even wait till morning. Jeez. Must be them French genes kicking in, I guess. Is it my French genes? No, I think it's actually. Oh, thanks for the follow, by the way. I think that's like full Canadian. I think that's like 400 years of like being in the cold, drinking alcohol to keep warm and stuff. You weeded out, yes. Yay, adult decision. Yeah. I'm sure that you are all impressed with me. I'm a dessert person. Makes nice now. Makes sense now. Sorry, what do you mean? Like you treat yourself with desserts now? That's what you mean? If you do, I can say that like I do as well. The churros in my stomach can confirm it. Yeah, right. I think we're actually done with the arms. Cool. So you see, tomorrow I'll probably be able to tackle like the arms and the leg, finish it by my own, and like the character will be fully posed and everything, ready to render. Cool. Cool. Let's just do another little round to see if I have not forgotten something. Well, here I know I didn't fix anything. $61 million points. Oh, it's much more than that. It's like, well, Zbrush says that it's like 120 million polys, which means that in triangle it's probably like, I don't know, 200 millions, something like that. I mean, it's missing the legs and the arms at the back now. Like it's supposed to look like this in the end. Yeah, I don't really see anything that's problematic from them. I think we're all good and clean for the moment. All right, I'm getting actually like super tired, so let's save this. Let's save this and call it a night. All right, all right. Oh, you're a dessert. Okay, no, it's my fault. I thought you meant dessert, like eating a dessert. I misread. I'm so tired. Seriously. I get it. All right, I get what you mean. All right. Um, yep, yep. That was a good one. I was able to show a lot of stuff about posing, so So that's cool, actually. I'm happy about that one. It was a very informative one, and so yeah, I hope that you've learned a lot. Of course, this will be on Twitch for a while, and then on YouTube, like always. Um, and yeah, I hope this is going to be one that people actually are going to be interested in, because I really truly feel that there's a lot of good stuff in the video I just made. Not bragging, but still, there was a couple of like good things to know about posing in ZBrush. For like a lot of people like consider this to be like a huge mystery and that sort of stuff. So I hope that this is going to enlighten people. Hopefully. Hey Cube, Ash. Oh, look at that sway. That's great. I love the pose. Thanks. I actually worked hard on it to actually like get that feel and balance and contrapposto correctly. So I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. That's nice. Very inspiring. Thanks, man. Yeah. She's fashion. She's she is a lot of fashion. You go, girl. Um, thank you for I was trying to think of like something that RuPaul would say. No, not as quick as RuPaul. Can't think of it. Thank you for streaming. Hey, no problem. Thank you, Marco, as always, sharing your secrets. Super inspiring. Yes, I'm having less and less secrets by the minute because of you, because of all of you. Hope you keep streaming. I will absolutely do that. I'm having a shit ton of fun. Those hips don't lie. They don't lie, son. They actually, uh, yeah. No, it was kind of like important to work on this part because it does actually balances a lot of like the whole like pose and everything. So yeah, robot with hips. Less impatient moving all the subtools too. You're amazing, dude. Thanks. Yes, it does require patience, but it's fun to know that like this technique actually works and you can like do all of that without having to rig. You can do that with like the most complex models. Uh, so for like if you're going to actually print afterwards, um, I find that like the solution that I figured out about how to pose a character helps a lot to kind of like go forward with your design and your hard surface and your high res and your blah 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 without like bothering too much about like the process afterwards. I've never been stumped posing a character before, so it does require like some patience after posing the major parts. You have to clean everything and make it look good. But I find that it does save so much time because working on the character while he's in symmetry, you like it goes pretty fucking fast. And like this part here, I mean, like I said, the pose blocking that I did on the left, like this is something like I said, it took me less than 8 hours to refine and repolish and everything and to get it right. Maybe even less than that. But then like I know exactly how I pose my high res on top of it, and it just does like save a lot of time. So yep, it's cool if people learned something, if people appreciated it. That's great. That's awesome. I'm glad. Super glad. All right. Well, let's call that a night officially. Oh, is there somebody that I can raid? Okay, to share the love. All offline. All offline. God damn. All right. Well, you know what? Maybe another time. Okay. All right. Before people think I'm freezing again. All right. Let's uh let's call that a night, actually. Yep, let's call that a night. So thanks again for checking the stream and everything. Soon we're tackling a new character, so it's going to make a major change. And yep, so I wish you a good night, everyone. And for those who are gonna continue working, I wish you a good continuation of the Sculpt Soirée. So take care, everyone. Ciao.